All right, good morning. We're on the internet. Now I got to get in Discord. Just a second here. I got to click a bunch of buttons and I have to restart Discord every time. Hopefully your Tuesday's going well. Okay, good morning. Good morning, Discord people. Can you hear my face? Let me start my screen share as well so you guys can see that hopefully. We're waiting. All right, can you hear me now? Hear my face hole? All right, good stuff. Good morning, good morning. Discord likes to truncate names even without the streamer mode being on, so I don't know what's up with that, but good morning. How's everybody's Tuesday going so far? It's another one of those flat mornings, so I might not trade pre-market. It's all these are pretty low volume now. APVO has about a 4-to-1 ratio, 3.5-to-1 volume to market cap ratio. AIHS also, but they're flat, right? So I can't really do a whole lot with that. So we'll just kind of hang out. We'll see what happens. If we get what we're looking for, we'll have fun with that. I'm going to use the same strategy that I've been working with Friday and today, so you guys can see all that. Those are both premium streams, so we'll have a little less time to spend focused on teaching that. We teach it on the premium side, but just want to implement it today for you guys. Good morning, Charlie. How's it going? Stickman, Adrian, Dr. Nikki. What's going on, guys? Let's see who else do we got. It goes. That's how it goes. We got Bebnet. Bebnet was here from the start. Love it. HG, Ben's friend. Are you Swinging Bulls friend? Hey, Alarm. How you doing? Alarm is my friend. It jumps in the market 9:20 every day. K1R, Big Z, Fun Chad. Kenny Penny. Always a pleasure having you here, sir. Gibbs to Grow. That's a name I haven't seen in a while, buddy. How the hell are you? Whoa. That's a throwback, man. Let's see. It's been a little bit. What's up, Jay? Dash J. Top, my best friend on the planet. How's it going? Oscuda, the doctor. I'm gonna say hi to you again. You deserve it. Adrian, Stickman, Kenny Penny, as always. All right, let's. We got Nuclear right too. Damn. Did I miss anyone? I don't think so. NG, I think. Did I say your name? I don't know. It's on the recording. But either way, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Tuesday. It is a... Oh, and Chris... I don't know how do you want me to pronounce that, buddy? Discord names always mess me up. All right, so regardless, it is a flat morning in terms of volume this morning, and the things that have the volume are going sideways or down, and we don't want to fight against the trend in those scenarios. So I think I'm just going to kind of pick a couple of these, like APVO. This one obviously has potential. It's got the retrace, all that good stuff going for it. But it should have blasted, right? It should have just gone up in the morning. It shouldn't be pulling right back after a break out of the zone. So a couple things we can do in a stock like this. We can try to plot some levels. We can identify some potential areas. And that's kind of all I want to do right now. I don't want to have a whole bunch going on right now. There's the market is unreliable, so I don't want to jump in and try to impose my will on something that's going against me. So we'll just kind of hang out. I like this zone right here. This is on AIHS. It's got a about a 6-to-1 volume to market cap ratio. I kind of like that. It's a $3.11 stock. It's within range. It's not like a $90 stock, and it's not a 10-cent stock either. But it's got to break out of the zone, so we'll see what happens there. Oh, the duckling was born early this morning. Duck and Anna had their baby. I need to see that. I need to see where that was. Where was that posted? I don't see anything in our admin thing. Oh, there he is. I'm a dad. And about 20 exclamation points. Good for him, dude. That's awesome. Is he in here? He's probably sleeping. And then he immediately posted a PBU course. Love it. That's awesome, man. Good for him. His whole life is changing. That's beautiful. So everyone, if you see Duck, if you hear Duck, if you know of Duck, make sure you say congratulations. Around 3:30 in premium chat. Yeah, I was gonna say most. There's a biological reason for this, but most labor inducements are, I think, between 2 and 6 a.m. If I remember correctly, which is pretty cool. There's a very specific reason for it. It's about the circadian rhythm and all that, but it's interesting if anyone is interested in learning about that. But yeah, I hope he's sleeping. He better not be in here. He better be sleeping and spending time with his wife. She just had a kid. Yeah, everyone has to like throw rocks and batteries at him and kick him out if he if he's spending time here. Ooh, I like Turb, TURB. So this is a good setup. It needs volume though, right? Like this little Excite bike track style of volume. I don't really like that. This is good potential. I would normally be attracted to this, but doesn't quite have the juice, right? Not yet. Look what you did to her. Duck, what you do? Stegro, I'm good, buddy. Trying to make some bread step by step to come back for a lifetime. Oh, okay. I need to earn the funding first. That's, hey man, I totally get that, and I would love for everyone to follow that path, right? I don't put something in front of you if it doesn't make sense and provide value, and it should be able to pay for itself. So that's why I would recommend everybody just start with coaching. Premium's got a lot going on. I love premium. Obviously, there's a lot more going on in premium, but there's a lot of moving parts. You know, it's not for everybody. But the coaching, that's my go-to is if you're going to lose about $40 in a month, you might as well get a coach because at least you get some value for that $40. That's not a sales pitch. It's just some common sense in my opinion, but that's why I don't try to pressure anybody into stuff. And then lifetime, if you're going to be here for more than a couple of years and you're in premium, rather than pay years and years worth of premium, you might as well just get in lifetime and get the cost savings. So plus you get all the other stuff. You get Stocks Buddy, Rest to Retire, all the coaches, all kinds of stuff. Wolf, yeah, I like Wolf. Wolf was that one was pumping yesterday. We like that one. Let me okay, get up to the 5 minute on that one. That was beautiful. many times. Yeah, we'll see. It's got to push. Must push. Yeah, so we're in auction cross now. I'm kind of just shopping around a little bit. I'm seeing what's moving where. I know I'm not really narrating it a whole bunch right now like I usually do. I usually just ramble like a madman, but I just want to keep an eye on stuff. See what's up. I do like APVO. I think that one and AIHS have potential, but they gotta move, right? I can't do anything with this if it's sideways like that, right? I don't want to have a bunch of maybes. Okay, no maybes and no babies, not for me. So I think those two are probably going to be my top watches, and of course we've got the other runners, right? They're going to be at the top of the list regardless because that's where everyone's going to go. But like Turb, for example, this one's good in that it just gave us a zone of value, but it's got to come back and retest that, or at least do some sort of retrace or something like that. We got to identify this this displacement. So let's draw our box. We'll extend it over here, and that becomes a zone of value. So FGI is just falling off the face of the earth. I guarantee people are buying this and holding it. And, you know, if your goal is to make money in the market, I'm going to give you guys the secret sauce right now. If your goal is to make money in the market and you buy something up here on a breakout and you're still holding it down here for that breakout, you're not going to make a lot of money long term. Okay. And it's not to say that you're not going to make a lot of money in individual trades, because you probably will. But you're not going to get to keep any of it because you're giving it back for, you know, the next trade, the next trade, the next trade. So got to be careful with that stuff. Looks like BGI broke to the downside, and that's just having a hard time getting back up, and that's okay. Not our problem. Because remember, we're not committed to anything yet. We're not emotionally investing ourselves in these trades. We're just watching. Got about a minute and a half till market open. Oh, kind of like this. Now, I don't really see a good signature on this one that I like, but this is probably one that I'd be watching in the market open. So we shall see. Oh, thank you for sharing that watch list. So everyone who's curious, we got about a minute, about 70 seconds till market open. This is our free morning watch list. Lee posts his at small caps every morning, right around 9 a.m. every morning. And then I post a large cap daily watch list for other stocks that are not necessarily low float and not necessarily momentum breakouts. They're usually better for options. But you can always just trade the equity if you're in a larger account as well. But like Caterpillar, for example, is a $400 or $500 stock, and Tesla's 400 plus. Like, you're not going to be trading those as low float cheapies, you know. But what's up, Mac Half Def? How you been, buddy? The background, the Weeble. We got about 25 seconds till market open, and I'm probably just going to scalp a couple with my hotkeys here at market open. And they're going to be quick, right? So as always, don't copy me. Just watch. I can't stress enough. It's not worth the risk. I'm going to be able to react a lot faster on my end, and there could be any number of delays from the information I see with my eyeballs and the buttons I push, and then that information getting intact into your brain. So I don't want you guys to do that to yourselves. So I'm just going to give this list a couple minutes. It's got a refresh and update. So I'm just kind of shopping around a little bit, seeing what all is going to. That's stupidly low float. Oh no, it's not low float. Sorry, it's just garbage. It's low volume. Looks like BGI is probably going to be the one that stays on the list. There we go. There's the rest of the list. So it has to like flood in order for me to see stuff. So there's the rest of the list. So I like Turb. I'm okay letting some go by as well. You know, if I have to, that's okay. This should, in theory, be hunting a new high, but I don't want to fight with it. I'd rather see a pullback. And that's TURB. I know it's kind of hard to see. All right, let's see what else we got. So I'm just shopping around. So TURB is definitely at the top of my list for watches. APVO, maybe. What are we doing? We getting any volume on this one? AIHS, breaking down. APVO might be. Yeah, it's just one of those weird mornings. You know what? I will buy just a little exploratory buy here on APVO. Just 2 shares. It's not a huge amount. Now I'm on a $57 account, so keep that in mind as well. But I think I really want to trade. I really want to trade TURB, if and only if we can get our pullback. You know, that's kind of what I want to trade. And let me see here. What's the share price on this one? I'll just do 1 share of that as well. When it's time to get in, I'm not getting in yet. And this is TURB. Looks like FGI is pushing up a little bit. See, this is not the time to buy this, by the way. Just because we see about 20 or so red candles here, and you see a little bit of bullishness, that's not the time to jump into that stuff. I see that happen a lot. So basically what's happening with Turb is we've got hardcore area of rejection right here. Oops, it's the wrong tool. And it's got to break through that. So the trade might go from here to here. That'd be an easy, 10+%. But it's got to break out of that. So I'm not going to jump in early. I just want to wait and see if it's going to confirm into that or pull out of this box right here. So I'm also going to look back over at APVO. That is up about 8%-ish. So I'm going to look for a new high on this one. No guarantee I'm going to get a high a day, but I'd like to at least get a little bit of a push. All right, so Turb is easily pushing down through that. That's kind of what I'm looking for, though. I'm looking for a harder pull down. I'd like to see a retest of this area. Okay, so I've only got 2 areas here that I'm going to be looking for trades, right? It's just going to be a move out of that box or a move above that box or a move above this line. So pretty straightforward, guys. Just looking for breakups. If it punches down, I don't care. I just want to catch it when it's going the other way. And I'm going to buy 1 share at a time. Again, I'm on a small account, so I want an efficient return on dollars exposed. I don't want to just blindly buy everything I see. And I'm doing that just so I can get multiple trades for you guys, because I know you guys like to see a bunch of trades and not just 1 or 2 like I normally do. Because that's how I personally trade. I just do like the one and done. Yeah, just be done for the day. I do like CNFR, but I don't like it on the 1 minute. I'm going to have to kick it up a little bit. Ooh, yeah, I do like that. All right, if we can get a break over this candle, maybe I'll take a look at some of that. YSXT, yeah, I'll take a look at that one. Mr. Tap coming through. Oh, look at that. That's a beautiful trade, sir. Are you in that one? Or are you waiting? That thing's going to halt, dude. Plus, also, that one has, it's got about 14 million shares restricted. So be careful with that one. 332. Jeez, you got in down here. That's beautiful. What an animal. What an absolute animal. All right, just kind of peeking back over here. High pre-market. Yeah, that's a good one, man. Looks like you found a little popper on that one. We'll definitely be coming back to that one. CNFR. This is why I don't jump into these, right? Because we were going to look at a break over here for an entry. We got our close, but I just don't like it. It needs volume. Everything that I trade like this needs to have good volume. This has good volume. I'm worried about this halting, though. That's obnoxious. We could have very easily scalped, pieces of it, or we could just be riding it. But I don't trust it with that much volume that soon and that many price moves. These are 15+% candles on the 1 minute chart and 10% plus on a stock that is, well, it closed above 3 yesterday. Or no, it didn't. Ooh, yeah, that could be halting anytime for the LUDP halts. AIIO from yesterday also going again, rinse, repeat. Yeah, maybe. On a week like this, the ones that are kind of more familiar to people and more stable, those tend to get the volume. I do like that. Oh, yes. What do we get here? Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to grab some AIIO. I'm going to grab 2 shares of that. That's a clean little trade on that one. I like it. So AIIO, I have 2 shares, and APVO, I have 2 shares. Now, it's not a whole bunch of money, obviously. We're just grabbing little pieces, and I'm okay with some volatility on this one. I like the setup here, and I expect it to kind of come down and hang out. Just check Turb here. Oh, all right. So for Turb, I'm going to grab 1 share here if I can. All right, grabbing 1 share here, and then I might grab another share on a breakout over this box. To give it a second here. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on the time and sales. All right, yeah, so I'm grabbing another share of Turb right there. So I got 2 shares. I'm going to go ahead and lock some of my profit here on APVO once I get back over like 12-13%. It's steadily above 10% now. So I'm at 12, 13, 13, 14. If we get a break over this little wick right here, I'll grab some of that profit and get another 1 minute so I can just kind of see what's going on. Nope. All right, so I'm definitely locking some of that below this line here. I don't want to have it fall back into that range. So I'm going to go ahead and lock some of those profits up while they're there. And we're going to see some of that chop on the way up. I'm on the 1 minute time frame, so it's going to be a lot of push and pull, push and pull. So I'm okay with it. But my job is to take risk off the table at this point. So I'm not looking for anything super drastic here. Let's see here. CNFR on that watch list, I think, is the best setup with the rest kind of sluggish. Yeah, it's just a weird morning in the market. Not a morning to be super aggressive with a lot of stuff. Now, Turb is pulling down a little bit, so I got to look at that in a second. I'm going to wait for the first 5 minutes or so. Yeah. What are my hotkeys? So I've got a couple of them. So I mainly use Control 1, 2, and 3. So Control 3 is my nuke button. It just sells the entire position. It's just a close order. And they only work during market hours, so keep that in mind. Control 1, if I uncheck this, it just buys 50% of the portfolio at market, so it's a market order. And then Control 2 sells 75% at last, which means that if it submits a limit order. Okay. And then I have Control 9, 8, and 5, which do the same things. They buy half at they buy half the portfolio as a limit order at last, but they have sell orders attached to it, whether it's a take profit, stop loss, or both. And then Control 7 sells one as a 1% trailing stop. So that way I've got a couple different setups there. And it looks like we're pulling back a little bit. I was not paying attention at all. Good thing I sold that one share. Turb looks like it's pushing up a little bit. There's a lot of volatility in the market, and I can always add to these. So I'm not afraid of volatility. We kind of expect this to do a little bit of chop here. And I'm not playing with millions of dollars, so there shouldn't be any emotion in any of this stuff. Turb is pushing up so far. It's going to try to hunt a new high. And by high, I mean the pre-market. There's this one, and then I'm going to move this one. Well, actually, I'll just erase that one. All right, so there we go. AIIO is pretty much flat. So remember, this one has to push over. It's got to push over this with some intent, right? It wants to challenge yesterday's highs. So it wants that continuation. I just have to let it happen. Okay, so let me go to the 5 minute here so we can kind of see it a little bit more clearly without all the noise. And let me drink some Monster too because my throat's getting blah. Delicious. Now this was up here, right? This wick means that the price was already up here at 720 after market open. So we got to be mindful of that as well, right? We don't want to just assume this is new territory. So I'm going to go ahead and get my control key ready. And I'd like to see it push over that high, but I don't want to be a fool. So I can always sell into that level of strength. Because remember, it rejected up here. And we got wicks up here, up the wazoo. So I can always sell, one share, lock it in. And then I have my remaining share for a runner if it continues. Or I could just cut that share if it pulls back. Just like APVO here. It's got to just get out of this range. And it rejected up here. So it looks like it wants to go up again, but I can't control that. Okay. So we'll just hang out. We're just letting the profits happen to us at this point rather than trying to go out and force them. And what is CNFR? I do like the setup on this one. It just has to go, right? It's got potential, but it's got to go. Looks like AIO is shooting for it. Oh, excuse me. Let's see, where does that one want to go? So same thing on this one. It could very easily pop over this high at 216, but yesterday it was up here and it failed to achieve a new high after that 241. Also, sorry if my camera's in the way. I just remembered I'm on a free live stream here, so that's probably obscuring your view quite a bit. So 215, 240. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, 1 cent below each of these highs from yesterday. Now, I think we could also just as easily push through them at this point. Looks like Turb is pushing a little bit as well. I'll go ahead and lock one of these shares here at 13%. So I sold some of my Turb. AIIO, I'm going to sell one of them here as well, if I can. So at this point, I'm reduced to half size on each of these trades. So you can see I'm trading very small amounts, so I'm not making millions of dollars. But, you know, we started this account, you know, $57. I'm just going to wait and see if we get a pop over 8 on Turb. Sorry, give me 1 second, fellas. That's 20%, 21%. Yeah, it's all about consistency. So my goal, right, if I'm using a $57 account, okay, and I'm trying to get 3% per day, I only need $1.71. And then I get my 3%, I can move on with my day. Okay, so far I'm up about $2.50. So I'm almost double that goal. So I'm okay with that. This is an easy enough process for me, and I'm not losing a bunch of money in the process. So if we drop below this yellow line here on Turb, I'm just going to sell it, and that's okay. I don't need to hold it forever, right? So that's my range. And I still got plenty of buying power left for more trades. So I can just continually churn this money over and over and over again with these small buys and just get disproportionately larger yields per dollar and have a pretty good time. I don't need to have, you know, a bunch of YOLOs. Let me peek at this one here. Yeah, I don't like that one yet. So this one is the one I was watching pre-market. It's FGI. It's got potential, and it had a good chunk of the volume. I just don't like it yet. All right, so at this point, what I can do with Turb is I can put a stop loss in place or a bracket, right? And I can just accept whatever it gives me and just be done. Looks like AIIO wants to push again. Let's see if we get that push up to our 216 or 215 sell. And then let's also keep an eye on APVO. So the volume on this one slowed down quite a bit. I've already realized the net profit so far on this one, but or maybe I didn't. Maybe I sold it around break even. But if it doesn't push up, I might just cut this one. Not because I don't like it, but because it's just not the right time. It's not doing what I want it to do. And again, my goal is to buy something. Let's say this is my entry, right? I just want the price to go. I don't want it to come down here. I don't want it to putter around sideways. I don't want any of that stuff. I just want it to go in the direction that's going to make me money. And I want to be in when it starts doing that and not when it doesn't. And that's my goal as a trader. All right. So it looks like I got filled on that one share of AIIO. Just peek back at Turb. It looks like we're rallying a little bit. I did not catch the sell order on this, and that's okay. I'll just stay in it. I'm not going to beat myself up over that. I just got a lot of other stuff to look at. Charlie, what's up? Ooh, you bought at 635, you bought at 611, then you sold at 675, $7.802. That's awesome, buddy. Good stuff. You know how many more tomatoes you could buy with that? Just kidding. That's awesome. And as far as your trading plan goes, what percentage of your account was that for that allocation? If you don't mind. If you don't want to share it, that's okay too. I did. I saw some of them. I saw the big pot. I saw the jars. I didn't see maybe all the picks. Oh, so you did. Yeah, I did. At least the one. I remember the one or two, maybe. It's kind of a blur. It's just come next year. Maybe, yeah. What'd you guys do? Is that you did the freeze dry. You freeze dried tomatoes. You had onions, and was it garlic? You making like spaghetti sauce? Is that culturally insensitive? I don't know. I only remember parts of the conversation. No, I'd be down though. I like preserving food. Fresh tomatoes, just tomato sauce, salt, and basil. Okay. Maybe that's what it was. What am I thinking of with the garlic? Oh, you know what? That was porter. Ah, I got you guys' food pictures mixed up. That's my brain. I remember. I just yelled at my hippocampus. Not freeze-dried. That might have been Fergie, I think. It's hard to keep everyone straight. So that's on me. That's not on you. You did your part. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, there's nothing we can do. And when you're in a trade, that's the best time to not be focused on the trade, right? Because all we're going to do in that case is continue to monitor. And that's kind of why I change these charts every now and then. It's not so I can look at the charts. It's so that you guys don't focus exclusively on any one chart. And you guys will notice I just do that a lot. And what happens is after we enter a trade, our job is to not talk ourselves out of the trade, right? Because what we do is we watch the trade, we continue to work after we put in the work to get into the trade and identify the setup. And then we bombard ourselves with confirmation bias on reasons we should get out of the trade. So when we're now up about 31% on this, or we were, it popped over to 847. So I'm probably going to lock the share here pretty soon if I can get like a 30%. That's an SPX level trade, by the way. 30% is more than enough. I would say good enough is good enough in that case. The doctor says, watching the soundless video yesterday, what was up with you showing a plate of food with a sausage and maybe mashed potatoes? That was Porter's meal. I'm all out of turb, by the way. I don't care what it does after this. It can go as high as it wants, and I'm not going to have any emotions about it. All right. So what did we do with this trade that we did with all the other trades? All right. We try to do these the same way. We identified an area of potential value. If you're in lifetime and premium, we just went over this yesterday and Friday. We watched a break. We watched the pullback. We watched a break again, right? It didn't come down and retest this level. We watched a break out of this level, and that's when I got in. And then we sold onto strength after a puncture of structure. And then we had a break of a new high of day after the pre-market high was broken. And I'm all out. And that's my goal. Was there any emotion in there? No. We were talking about tomatoes and Duck's baby and stuff like that. That's the whole point. We want to be able to live our lives outside the market, even if we're in the market. And we can do that by not becoming a slave to the market. So this account is up to $60, and we started at 57. So that's $3 divided by 57 times 100. That's 5.26%. And I bet I still have a bunch of settled cash. Okay, so it doesn't take huge risk to make decent enough returns. And, you know, people are going to scream to the heavens that, you know, 2 to 3% isn't enough and blah, blah, blah. But if you really break it down and you compound a small amount like that, which is achievable, and you compound that repeatedly over and over and over again, it gets pretty cool pretty fast. And that's where a lot of people tend to just deprive themselves. I'm going to exit APVO here. That's my second share. I'm just cutting it. I don't like it. It's not going the direction it's going to make me money. I can always get back in if I want. And then the only thing I have left is AIIO, right? So we don't want emotions to be all up in our business when we're trading, because that's not good for us. Let me just check and see. Guess how much money I have settled cash. I'll let you guys guess. Just put a number in the chat if you're sure. First one to get it right, or the one to get it closest, gets something. I don't know. You can have Duck's kid. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. So it was a 10% buy. This is Charlie. 10% buy times 2. But I saw a little pullback and took the chance to have more to sell off on the way up, or it was going to cut off in the next candle down had it gone the other way. So you had a plan. That's good stuff. I like it. I like it. Kenny Penny says $32. Oh, he's coming out strong. Saying I got more than half the account in settled cash. Ooh. Is anyone coming for the crown? 23. Oh, you can pick whichever one you want. I like what APVO is doing here, but it's in the wrong neighborhood, guys. $1 million. I don't know. I don't think I started with that. Not on this account. BevNet says $27.68. Ooh, he's trying to do the prices right, going just above Kenny's answer. I like it. I like seeing it. I'm planning more in places lately without realizing it's been little pieces of the plan I've been missing along. That's beautiful. Charlie, that's it. It's never going to be just one thing changes your life. It's always going to be a series of revelations. And if you ask Snowflake and Matster and pretty much any of the other guys that have, figured it out, they'll tell you that it's just one revelation after another. And that's the whole process. It's a journey. So that's awesome. You guys ready to figure out how much money I have left settled cash? Ooh, I kind of like that. See, I like these. I like these setups. I like this little bounce here, this little wick rejection bounce. But it needs volume. Right, this just got shoved down the list. This is probably like a top special. If it had a different input going into this, I feel like top would be all over that. But it needs volume. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 3 shares of AIHS. That's one of the ones I was watching pre-market. The answer is $35. I had, what is that in terms of 35 divided by 57, 61% of the portfolio value in settled cash. So the remainder of that is what we made that, 5 point whatever percent return on overall, which is kind of obnoxious, right? It's only $3, but the fact is it didn't take a whole lot to get that $3 because we had a 30% profit in there. We had like a 6% loss, and then we had another 20+%, and the same process. We're just letting the dollars do their thing. So now I'm increasing the position sizes just a little bit, just to catch little pieces. So I grabbed some AIHS, and I've got a $10 bracket here. So I'll do 3 more entries. Actually, let me look at the yes. I don't like this, but it's got to be decisive, right? It wants to go. It's doing a little pullback here, but I don't trust it. It's not strong enough if it's still pulling down. You know what I mean? So we'll just wait. This is Turb. It's obviously high risk. And I could just call it, I don't have to trade any of this stuff. I just kind of like it. So I might trade some BGI and I might trade some Turb. We'll see where it goes. But they got to push. We're almost at the 10 o'clock mark as well. We get one more flare in the market usually. So bigger positions means this has potential to bring the value of the portfolio back down. So at this point where you should be done trading, we can walk away. But I'm going to keep trading. I'm going to be a little more aggressive. And that's where I don't want you guys to copy me. Okay. So actually, I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put these top and bottom here. It might be a little harder to see. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. All right, I'm going to grab some BGI here. I got 6 shares of that at 142. I don't know if I'm going to get my Turb. That one might fall back. We'll have to wait and see what it does. Charlie, can you talk through the order book again and what we want to see when we're buying and when we're selling? Yeah, so the order book is just, it's this right here. This is what's referred to as level 2. If you see more than like the top few orders. And basically all it is just a list of pending orders that haven't been filled yet. So if I place a sell order right here at 159, it will show up here at 159. It'll add that number of shares to this value here at 159. Okay. Same with the buy orders or orders on the bid, right? Because you can have buy and sell orders on both sides, and that's what people don't tend to understand there. What happens is that as the price approaches, there's a bid and an ask spread. Okay, and the bid is just what people are willing to pay for shares, and the ask is what people are asking in exchange for their shares. So it's a cash versus shares, it's supply and demand. Okay, and the middle price between those two is what we see up here. That's the market price, quote unquote. And what happens is when somebody places an order, or when an order pops up in the queue that the market wants to fill, it's got to match it with an equal and opposite order. So if I have a limit buy order here at 145, it tries to find a sell order for that same number of shares and that same, ideally the same priority, right? And when it's matched, the order's filled and it adjusts the price based on which side reached across the aisle, whether it's a bid reached across and match the ask or vice versa. I'm going to sell some of these right here. Let me just uncheck that box. Okay, I'm selling some of my shares here at 153. I got 2 shares left, sorry. And then that's what drags the price up or down. So it's not buyers versus sellers. It's bid orders matching ask or ask matching bid and then pulling the other one over. Okay. And that's how price moves. So as you see, the price is moving up. So ask orders are grabbing bid orders and filling them. Okay. And then if it's market orders, you're not going to see them in the order book at all. So you can see that the order book isn't really moving at all, but you see all these orders flooding through. Those are mostly market orders. And that just means that people are getting filled in the moment. Does that make sense? So if you don't see the order book moving, but you see the time and sales flushing like that, it's just a bunch of algos that are just slamming market orders. And that's where you got to be careful, because somebody could slam like a large order on the ask and that could chain fill, right? You could see multiple bigger walls here, or even on the bid, which is more dangerous. And then what happens is those get filled in sequence, which means it'll fill everything it can at the bid, and then it'll reach down below to the next price and then reach below that and then reach below that. And they'll just keep getting filled, and that'll slam the price down. And you got to be very careful when that happens, because that's how you get those momentum pops. And that's really what we take advantage of when we see these big walls on the ask and we're looking for a breakout. We're just exploiting that chain fill process in the upwards direction. I'm probably going to sell these last 2 shares here around break even if it wants to pull back down. I got an 8% profit on most of the shares, so I'm okay. And if it wants to go up, it goes up. I'm okay with that too. AIHS, I was kind of expecting to push. It's still in the zone. It shows strength out of the zone. It hasn't fallen back through the zone, so it may, but it needs that volume. AIIO, I'm going to cut that one at break even. There's no point in holding this. It was all the way up here at one point. This was the opportunity for it to run. It hit my target, my initial target, so I sold most of the shares, and then I'm pulling back here. I don't want it to hang out at my break even. I don't want to endure that. You know, I'll endure this because it's around my break even, but anything below that is just unnecessary, because then I'm just giving profits back. Okay. So AIHS, we're just kind of waiting for that one to slam. BGI, we're waiting for that one to slam. And then Turb, just peek on that real quick. Yes. Sorry, keep changing windows here. Might grab another one of these if I can break over these wicks. Now, trading this one is going to be high risk, so it's going to be a little bit silly, and I'll probably just have to cut it very soon if it wants to stop. So we came back, we retested this high, pretty much is what happened there. So I'm taking a little bit of a higher entry. I should have gotten in down here, but that's okay. Yeah, I like that jump over 9. I'm going to go ahead and get in a little early on that one. Obviously high risk, so we're also in price discovery up to 968. So we'll see what happens there. Just going to go to the 2-minute. And this is a $9 trade. So this one has potential to hurt pretty bad if it goes against me really quickly. So I don't want that to happen. So if it does, I want to cut it. So I don't want this one to go like below here, for example. STKH, possible scalp above 6. Yeah, I can see it. I like those big candles. That's a lot of volume. That's 70s. Well, it's not a lot total, but it's a lot relative. And I had a bunch of volume over here early this morning. So maybe, yeah, I could see it. Put this back on there for you. Let's want a little bit more juice on that one before I jump in. Yeah, it's got to break. I see the potential, though. It's got to get past this little chop range right there. Okay, I don't like what AIHS is doing here. I just want it to push up. It's going sideways. It's kind of meandering down a little bit. I don't want to hang out with that. Not my favorite. So I might just close that one. I see BGI is also kind of doing a little push-pull dance there. Don't want it to hang out too much. So I might cut them pretty soon. Looks like Turb is pushing a little bit. I'm going to go down and check that so I can sell. Well, I only got the one share, so it doesn't really matter too much. I'm up about 7%. And that's good enough. I'm locking it 7-8%. That's all I care about. Not looking for huge moves on that one. It is super high risk, so I just want to get in and out. Now I'm up to $61, so I'm up $4 for the day. I think I am going to cut AIHS here. That spread is widening. It's a 4-cent spread. I don't want to fight with it anymore. And then that just leaves me with BGI. And potentially STKH, if it pushes back up, we'll trade that with top. And yeah, it looks like Turb had a nice little pop. But again, it can go as high as it wants. It can go as low as it wants. If I'm not in it, it doesn't matter at all, right? Because my job is just to get in and out. I don't need to stay in it or work after I'm clocked out, right? That's what people do. They buy stuff and then they continually put in work. They continually monitor and analyze, and they stress themselves out, and they talk themselves into taking action early, and that hurts them. I don't care if the stock goes up to $50. I'm not going to beat myself up over that. Congrats to everyone who traded it up to $50 successfully, but I got my piece and I'm happy with that because I know long term that little 2%, 3%, 5%, 8%, I don't even know what we're up to today. What's that? 4 divided by 57. I'm up 7% in a day. It was like 6% yesterday. So I'm already twice my goal. And most importantly, I have something they don't, and that is less risk exposure, right? Because in the alternate universe where that stock didn't blast and those guys are holding it 30% down, you know, who comes out on top in that scenario? It's me. And what happens more often than not? Stocks fall down. So I'm going to be in that that particular vehicle as much as I can, and I'm going to have a seatbelt on the entire time. And I can always just get back in and out if I want to, but I don't want to. I've got my piece. I'm happy with it. I've eaten my meal. I can walk away. I can go get an ice cream cone. I can eat some gummy bears, whatever I want, if I want a little snack here and there. But my meal is being digested. I'm satisfied. I don't starve today, and I don't overeat and hurt myself. I don't want gastric dyspepsia and a ruptured intestine. You know, there's no need for that. Ooh, I like what we're doing here. So that one's going to push a little bit. Let's check back to stakeholder. That one's still just kind of hanging out. So it didn't quite get the volume yet, but it's getting there. All right, so it looks like we're getting ready to potentially push over a new high. Get in my belly. What happened, David? Why? Which part? I didn't do it. 9.5, almost 10%. On BGI, there's 10% right there. What was yesterday's banger analogy? That was a train station. We were talking about a train station. And that was basically like Florida to New York, and then it was a whole thing. I promised the lifers that I would make a special recreate. So the audio from the lifetime live stream where I went over that a little more in depth, it didn't record, and I feel horrible. So I promised them I'd do another one. But yeah, that was basically it. Just avoiding a 10-car pileup. So this, if you're wondering why I didn't just take profit right there, it's because I already did right here. And this is a reduced position. It's only a $2.84 cost on this one. So it's already reduced. I took 75% of the shares off the table on that one. So I'm waiting for a push even higher for that one, just to keep the context there. FTI tube. Yeah, that halted. So this looks cool and all also, but you got to keep in mind when things halt, even if it's a halt to the upside, and I hate when people say they can predict halts, this could just as easily open down here at $7. And everyone who bought up here is trapped, and that's double-digit loss right there. Halts are cool, but they're always dangerous, and I don't want to see anybody get caught in them no matter what. So it pays to understand your LUDPs, your halts, your circuit breaker thresholds, T1 through T3, and all that good stuff. And also just to be cognizant, don't get greedy and don't hold stuff if it's moving super fast. Just kind of protect yourself, you know. APVO could be turning in a good way to scalp also. Yeah, I love that setup. It just didn't go, you know. I had to cut it. You know, I bought it into here. It pushed up, it rejected, and then it just kind of puttered, and I didn't want to hang on to it. Yeah, it's got to get up there. Love the setup, though. It's great potential. Charlie says, I can't predict them, but I can see it coming when a candle chops, and the time for the time and sales in order book either move super fast or not at all. Yeah, absolutely. So I might cut this one too if it wants to be weird. Don't really like that chop. So basically what we just saw there, that little flash, that's basically a chop down, meaning there was a chain fill to the downside. So somebody just slammed a bunch of orders there and then also right back up. So there's algos fighting right here, which is fine. You know, the price was back down here before and then it pushed back up and all that good stuff. But I don't like the way it behaved and the fact that it didn't rally after that. So I'm going to keep my finger real close to that control key. And then I'm going to keep my other finger real close to the 3 key. And I'm just going to sell it as fast as I can. And I'm out. No need to hesitate. So I don't trust it. And it's just little things like that you just learn to look for. Because that could, like something like that, just that little flash in volume, that could be enough to trigger a halt. And I don't want that to halt to the downside. Plus, we got to consider the neighborhood, right? We had this massive move here to the downside and to open. And then we got a smaller move to the upside with a little less aggression, right? It's still, there's still some strength in here, but it's less aggressive overall. Otherwise, we would have pushed a new high. And then we just got a massive red candle into that. And that's where you see continuation. So I just don't want to be in it if that's what's going to happen. I'd much rather see a buy up and all that good stuff. And then we just pop over highs and rally. But we got to remember the neighborhood we're in. And if this fails, there's nothing but train track down here. It's a one-way trip, right? Just open track all the way down, especially in these little low float garbage stocks. And this, oh, sorry. And this guy's got, what is this? 16.5 million shares, about 7 or 8 times the free float in restricted shares. So they could drop any sort of dilution catalyst they want. And that could be nasty for everybody. So it looks like Turb is pushing still, and that's cool. Again, I put myself in front of a high potential trade, and I took a low risk entry and capitalized on it quickly. So I had a very efficient ROI, and I'm happy with that. Congrats if anyone is trading this, but I hope you prioritize your risk management. I can't tell you what to do, but looks like we found a bunch of high potential setups on a crappy day in the market. Like a lot of the stuff in the market just kind of looks like this. So somehow we magically, systematically filtered out the ones that had the best potential, and we traded them when they told us it was time to trade, and we got out when they told us it was time to get out. I like it. That's my job. So, and I want to help you get to a position where that's your job, but it's got to be a side hustle. Okay. I don't want this to be a full-time job for anybody. So if you want to, yeah, I can go through the train track stuff right now. I think I'm done trading for the day on this account. Yeah, I think our meal is done. We can put our fork and knife down, and I think we can just kind of savor the flavor there for a little bit. Just kidding, it's SPX time. So are there actually sales that slip through where we only see wick? Yeah, that's why it's important to understand the time in sales as well. So these are orders that are filled. So when you saw that chop, you probably didn't see it because it was very fast, but it was just a cluster of orders. And block orders technically is what that is. I hate when people use the phrase block order because of YouTube, it's a misunderstood term. That is not what an actual block order is, but sometimes you just got to let the YouTube kiddos have their fun. You know, I can't fight everything. Like when I see people say that sellers came in right here and slammed the price down, that's not what actually happened. You guys know that. It's bid orders reached across the aisle, grabbed ask orders, and pulled them down. The bid orders are dominant. They could be limit buys all the way down, and that could still drag the price down if if there's nothing sufficient enough on the ask close to the spread. That can still drag the price down because the bid is reaching up even higher to find its match, which means it pulls it down further to match. And that's how that mid price, which is this right here, let me make that a little bit different color. That's effectively how the price moves down. Does that make sense? Like you've got your bid here, you've got your ask here. And actually, let me color code these, because this is one of the things most people just fundamentally misunderstand. When we see the price move down like this, okay, you can see, and think about it in terms of logic, right? Like you see the price move down here, but these orders are red, right? What does that mean? It means that they're ask orders that are being matched. And right here, for example, you see green, right? Floods of green, yet the price moves down. And this is where people don't focus. They don't take the time to be like, well, what the hell is happening? And what that means is that you've got these bid orders and you've got the mid price here. That's that blue line right here. Actually, I'll make that yellow so it's easier to see. So you've got the bid order here. You've got the ask order here. And I'm just flipping this 90 degrees counterclockwise. This is bid. This is ask. This is the mid price. So when the price pushes down, okay, that's because the bid, like this 134 order here, is going to reach across the spread and it's going to grab an ask price and match it. It's going to be the dominant one. And when it does that, it gets favor over the mid price. And if it does that enough, the price moves down and these orders move down with it. And then you get the price to shift down. Okay. And then when the price moves up, the ask orders, this 135 order right here, it's reaching over to the bid. It's grabbing an order to match with these 910 shares, 710. It just matched to 200 or some combination that adds up to 200. It's going to reach across the spread, grab the bid price, an order that matches equal and opposite. Since it's the initiator, it's the dominant one, it's going to get favor over the mid price. It's going to pull the price up, 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 up. And then eventually that's going to move the bracket up. Okay. And that's how price moves. It's not some abnormal number of buyers and it's not some abnormal number of sellers. That's only true for a very small window of time, twice a day. And that's auction cross. That's going to be right into market open and it's going to be right at market close. Those are the only two times where that's a thing. And I hate seeing everyone say it at like 9:45. It's like, oh, buyers come in, sellers come in. That's not how it works. Does that make sense to everybody? If it does, put a 1 in the chat just so I understand that you guys got it and I won't ramble about it too much, and a 2 in the chat if you don't, and that's okay too. Charlie says 1. Adrian says 1. Okay, again, a couple of 1s. This is one of the most fundamental concepts about price movement, and everybody just gets it wrong because of YouTube, and I hate seeing it. It's not to say it's not useful for helping you understand it, you know, because that's kind of what's happening, but it's not accurate. And that little gap in accuracy can lead you to a lot of problems. And it's those little corrections like that that make a huge difference. Top says 5. Yes. I love it. How is STKH, by the way? No, still hasn't pulled up yet. Still like the setup. That's still a big, you know, you got 3 major candles here on a low float. It's 500,000 shares. But they don't have any, they don't really have a substantial number of restricted shares. So this one definitely could go, if it gets volume. This is one that could go triple digits very easily, in my opinion. And that's, you kind of saw that here. Like these, this is like less, this is like 20, 30, 50K shares did this much. Imagine what a million could do. But it's not going to get that volume until everything else is kind of, you know, deprioritized. So that's going to halt again. Jeez. So Turb, I like it. Now, am I going to go all over the internet and say, oh, I grabbed it down here at $6? No. I mean, I will, but I'll say I sold it at like 7, you know, and I hate when I see that too, because yes, we did trade it down here. We put ourselves in front of a golden opportunity. It just happens to have ran after we got out, right? And that's psychology. You have to not beat yourself up when that happens. We did the right thing. And again, I'm up, what was that, 6 or 7% for the day without any real effort. So let's talk about that train track real quick, and then I got to jump off here. Chow, what is that, just an IPO? Did we just get an IPO? I think we did. I don't care about these at all. It's a Chinese company. It's an investment holding company. Ugly, don't like it. Get off my list. Sorry, let me read this here. Top says, and everybody pay attention to what Top says every time he says something, because he's got it. He's got the perfect mindset, and I love it. The best thing in trading, once you find your own system, one strategy with a lot of options, you're good. I know max 10% of trading and make good money. So I build that house up, nothing else, nobody else, just the system. No setup, no trade. Absolutely, you're just trading what fits your system. You know, and I always like to call it an engine or a machine. You know, you've taken time. You've had all the parts laid out in front of you. You've picked one part of various types, and you've assembled an engine, right? You've got your spark plugs, you got your carburetor, you got whatever other pieces. You've got your gas tank, right? And then, you know, and you've taken each of those pieces and you've built your specific engine, and you're putting one specific type of fuel into that engine over and over and over again, and that engine runs efficiently. You're not in there. You're not dumping like Kool-Aid into your gas tank. You're putting gas in the gas tank that matches what type of engine you're using. You know, you can't put jet fuel in a 2-cycle engine and expect a good result. And vice versa. You can't put 2-cycle in a jet. I mean, that's not going to end well. So, you know, you've got it. You figured it out, and I love seeing it, because this is a skill set no one can take away from you. And a good chunk of that is just picking a simple system, testing it, following it, and then really just keeping those emotions in check. And you've done spectacular at that. And that's a skill set that you brought from outside the market. You know, you've got life experience. And yeah, your strategy is not super complicated. You don't need a Bloomberg terminal or a million different indicators. You've got a very simple setup that makes sense. That doesn't mean it's easy to follow, because that's where the psychology comes in, but it's a very technically simple strategy. So, and that's why I try to keep mine as simple as possible as well, because I don't want people to focus on trying to master technical analysis, because that's not where you're going to find your answers. So if we were to look at this chart right here, let me see if the 1 minute looks any cleaner. Yeah, it's a little messy. Let's say the 3 minute. Maybe. Yeah, I guess we could use that. All right, so let's just use these 2 zones. So basically, I'm just going to look for areas where the price has kind of pushed and pulled from, okay, with some strength. All right, so let's say here we've got a nice little set of train stations, right? And I'm actually gonna erase everything in between here, and I'm gonna erase everything up there. Okay, let's just say that we've got this area here where the price hung out for a little bit, right? This is the, think of this like the train station terminal, okay? This is the platform. Everyone's kind of hanging out waiting for their train right up here. And I'll move it over here so that you guys can see it without the camera, okay? So the camera should be up here if you guys aren't on the social media side of it. So people come from wherever. Like this is just, picture this as a big city, right? Or a big state. People come from all over. They eventually find themselves at the train station, okay? And this is where they get their tickets, they check their bags, they do all the things, they get their ID out, and they just kind of hang out and wait for their train. Their train's going to depart at a very specific time, okay? And I want you guys to look at something. Let me see if I can find a GIF. Sorry, guys, give me 1 second here, because this is always kind of funny. If you haven't seen these yet, there's boardings of some of the trains where they literally just shove people in, right? Like they have to. They shove stuff in there. They grab all the little pieces of coat, briefcases, and then they literally just try to shove these people in as hard as they can. There's dedicated people at the train station for that. It's a specific train, from my understanding. It's not like a rampant thing, but it is a very populated train. Okay. And they just try to stuff it as full as they can. And that's effectively what happens when you see a momentum breakout, is you've just got as many people as you can trying to get on this train. And some people end up chasing it down the track, right? But either way, the train eventually leaves the station and it goes to its destination, right? And that's where we want to get on there and just take a ride, okay? We don't necessarily know where the train stations are going to be until they get there, or until they form a station. Like they have to build the station, right? And then we can identify it and say, oh, that's a train station. So imagine this is New York and imagine this is Florida, okay? We don't want two trains on the same track. We don't want trains coming back at the same time. We just want one clean, populated train going from New York down to Florida so everyone can go on vacation. And then when they're ready, right, they can get on their train down here. More people show up, right? Then they can ride the train back or get as close as possible. And it looks like one of the stops here may be in Pennsylvania. They're all going to see Kenny Penny. It just took most of the passengers off. So not everybody ended up getting on the train to go to New York, and that's just where it didn't get to. Maybe they had to clear the track because another train was coming, and that's what happened. Another train came slamming down the track and brought it back to Florida, and that's why we're here. So, we're back at Florida. Are we going to Cuba? We don't know that. We just know that the train hasn't left Florida to go up to New York yet after this last time, and it didn't get there, right? So our job is just to try to look for these train stations and to get in with the crowd, right? And then not necessarily to try to get the entire ride, but just to get off at our stop, right? We don't want to get off at a super crowded terminal. We just want to get off at some small town in a suburb, outside Chicago or outside New York City, because if you're constantly fighting through these terminals, you're going to get stampeded, right? But more importantly, the more time you spend on that train, the more you risk having another train come through and slam you down and have a collision. And you don't want that. That's why we just want to get in and get out. And that's why I take my profits early and I don't care. Everyone's like, oh, I left profit on the table. It doesn't matter, because what you're avoiding here is a train wreck, right? That's my number one priority. I throw my luggage out the train and jump out and roll off in the dirt. It's soft dirt. I'm jumping off the train with money in my pocket. And if it helps, you can think of yourself like one of the 1800s train robbers if you want. You're just there to get the money, right? You don't have to get the entire thing. You don't need to pull your safe off. You don't need to get all the gold bars. Just get what you can and get off the train. And that's effectively all we have to do as traders, is we just identify these zones or these ranges where the price has departed with aggression from. And this is very heavily geared towards what Austin teaches as well for his range trading strategy and stuff. Obviously, it's a little bit more involved on his end, but this is the simple concept of it. You're just looking for where price has moved violently away from. So right here, for example, we have a new train station. Price has moved, right? That doesn't, just because the range is bigger doesn't mean it's more potent or less potent. This one still had a much more violent move, and this one had a much more violent move. But right now, this train station is struggling. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to push back up, and this is all I care about. If the price wants to push back up and go to this train station, or if it wants to push back up and go to this train station, I can choose whether or not I get on that train. If I get on this train and it starts going down here to, let's say, Monterrey, Mexico, or Oaxaca, I know to get off that train immediately because it's going to the wrong place, and I don't want to go down to Oaxaca. It's a nice place, but I don't need to. That's not going to get me up here. I have to get up here so I can deposit that money, right? And that's kind of where we need to just use some simple rules. If I'm getting in, I should be getting in when the price is going the direction that's going to make me money. I should be getting in the right train at the right time. If that train suddenly throws it in reverse because it has to clear the track because another train's coming down the line, I don't want to be on that train. I just get the hell off. I could sit there and watch and see what happens, but I don't need to be part of that. And that's where I just need to stop out immediately, come to terms with it, because I can't overpower a train, and just get off, get on the next train. So a very simple strategy here is just look for these little train stations and wait for the price to go the direction you want it to go. Use reasonable position size. Don't bring all your luggage. And, once it breaks, it breaks. And if it breaks again in the other direction, get the hell out. I can't tell you what to do, but if that's your plan, why are you going to Oaxaca? I hope you're brushing up on your Spanish. I hope you have friends or relatives in the area. What's up, Marcos? Serving tacos, yeah. That was a huge eye opener for me on trade the direction the stock is going. Yeah, don't fight it. That's the biggest part of trading. Everybody knows the goal is to make money in the market, and to do that, you have to buy at a lower price than you sell at. And if you're constantly selling at a lower price than you're buying at, you're not making money. And it might seem like toxic positivity or a slap in the face because it's not easy, but that's the general concept. It's just, if you buy something, it's only going to go one of two directions eventually. And if it's going the other direction, it's going to make you money. You kind of have to make a decision, right? And if it's going the direction it's going to make you money, you have to make a decision as well. When is it your money? When does it become real for you? When do you get to take that money off? So fighting the trend is one thing, and then fighting yourself and your expectations is a completely different animal. And that's why I want everybody to understand that finding an entry strategy is the simple part. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's technical analysis can be very, very simple. And I just showed you guys a super effective strategy, and you watch me do it all day. Taking profits is the real challenge. So don't focus too much on the entries, because that's very simple. You can just pick a random price level and it goes up or down, right? That's easy. If it goes down, you know exactly what to do. If it goes up, you don't know what to do, and that's where it gets messy. So I'd rather everybody focus on that part. Charlie, I got rid of confirmation, the order receipt and confirm button to follow my hotkeys because it was slowing it down. The first time I go to use them, I get a do you understand the risks of hotkeys without confirmation? Yeah, they love their little pop-up boxes. And just so everyone knows, thank you for bringing that up, Charlie. So if you go in here into your settings and you go to your hotkeys and you enable them, you go to trade, you go to hotkey settings and all that, or I can't remember exactly where it is. There is a little checkbox you can check here. Maybe it's trade. Yeah. You can turn your confirmations off in these preferences, and it'll still do the same pop-up. And I think that's a way to disable that specific one that pops up about the hotkeys, because it'll pop up here instead. I can't remember exactly. They might have changed it, but that's how I used to do it, because I used to have like 6 different accounts on Webull. I still have quite a few, but it's not, I don't use them actively. But yeah, so that's one way to do it. Let me see if I can squeeze out one more fast trade, and then I got to jump off of here. So I got $9.41 left. Let me just see if we can grab a train station. I can't trade that. That's 15 bucks. Ooh, I don't like that yet. So it's too bearish. That's too much. There we go. So, all right, train station, right? Train station. Does this make sense? We saw a displacement to the downside here. We saw a displacement here. this is train station time. So this could be pushing to the downside, or it could be pushing to the upside. I would have to buy, I believe, 1,000 shares since this is under 10 cents. So I can't trade this one. But this would be a very simple, like you guys can see it left the train station. Oh, somebody forgot their ASBA inhaler. We had to go back and grab it. And then, oh, we going up. Now we're back in New York, right? Now are we going to cross the border into Canada, right? Are we going up to see Santa? Where are we going? Are we going to circle the globe and go to Australia, right? I don't control any of that, but that's the opportunity. And that train station formed itself. We got a retest and a displacement back to the upside. Check out Naka. Oh, okay. Let's see what we got here. I don't like this volume. I like this volume, but I don't like this volume. Let me take a look. Let me just read the chat. Sorry. Top says that's the hard part. It goes up or down, right? So people say it's 50-50. Wrong. Why only max 10% of traders succeed? Ask yourself that question. Absolutely. Stock will absolutely go up or down. So on, or no, it was yesterday. I walked you guys through literally a 1 cent per share stop loss strategy. And the one winner was like 37 cents, and that wiped out so much. It was on the daily time frame. You know, it doesn't mean every single trade is going to be perfect and you're always going to get a 1% loss, but you're minimizing those losses as much as possible. And that's all that matters. No, I do like Naka. It's just not ready yet. Bit Farms, I like this one. You know, we've looked at this one quite a bit. Obviously, we've got a displacement out of here. We've got a displacement out of here. Does that make sense? This is just clean track. You know, there's a little bit of push-pull here. So this is a congested terminal up here. But then we get a retest and a blast out of it. You know, that's great. I can't really do much with it unless I want to trade to a new high. But it's kind of a messy chart for now. So it doesn't mean there's not potential, but I can't chase it up here for a 1.5% profit. But I like the setup. So it's just not the right time. Therefore, this goes on a watch list. Bull, I can't trade that one. That's too expensive for this account. It's $12 and some odd cents. And also it's slamming to the downside. That is not the time to buy these. Unless you're looking in the higher time frames and it's a good fundamental structure. But this one just lost the lows, or it's pushing this low here. You know, this is, you know, let's draw it out, right? Because the concepts apply to everything, all time frames. Okay, we got a level there. We got a train station there. We've got, ooh, that's messy. Trying to like draw this without skewing the price too much. Yeah, we got a range there. It's okay. This isn't something I'd buy until it was on its way back up, though, personally. And that would be more like a swing trade. ADAP, let's take a look, Chris. Oh, it's Chris. What's up, Chris? How you been doing, buddy? So I already got some lines drawn on this one. I can't trade this one on this account because I'd have to buy 1,000 shares since it's below 10 cents. But, you know, it worked. It worked, though. Life is all right. Haven't traded in a few weeks. Just getting back into it. Okay. Things kicking up in the art world, or is it personal stuff? You don't have to answer that if you don't want to. I just hope everything's going all right for you. Pull 10% on that one, holding a third ADAP now. Good stuff, man. This guy's a scalping savant. I love it. All right, let's see if we can grab one more of these guys. So I can't trade BREA or TURB or Chow or BGI. Well, I could trade BGI, I guess. All right, so it looks like we're about to, so we're pulling into the station, right? At this point, this is one of the inbound trains. Now, this could be someone who forgot their inhaler, right? So we got to be mindful of that. But if this train wants to get on the right track and do the right thing and go back up to New Jersey or Pennsylvania, I could be in for that. Okay. But if they're grabbing something, if the conductor forgot to use the potty, you know, and somehow the one on the train is already full, I don't want to be in that. Okay. So I'm going to wait for a break over 129, 130. And that's all I got to do. Not New Jersey. Don't send them here. Well, you know, not the whole train. The train's going to go through New Jersey. We're just going to jump out and roll off into the rocks. We're going to hang out by the Hudson River. We don't want you. Well, I'm sorry. You couldn't be New York. Don't take it out on us. We're gonna get your cheese dogs. I don't know what they have in New Jersey. What do you guys have? You take North Jersey. No, I don't want that. Do they have a Wawa, or is that the ticker you want to look at? Oh, let's see. I'm surprised Wawa isn't public yet. Hoagies, yeah. I wonder where you guys got those from. Just got a Wawa in North Carolina. Better big Porter's trying to start a civil war, man. Don't do it. You don't want to start this fight. Well, I can understand if you're from New Jersey, your palate is probably pretty messed up, so I get it. I'm just kidding. I can't. I personally have no stake in the New York, New Jersey stuff. I don't really care. Pizza's pizza, in my opinion. That's better than Chicago. Sheets isn't still private, 800 stores. Wow. All right, so at this point, I'm just waiting, right? We're literally just sitting at the train station, charging our phone, checking our Facebook, just kind of waiting to hear our terminal. Yeah, personally, I don't really like New York or New Jersey. I'm just kidding. I'd say the only opinion I have about New Jersey is the drivers. I think that even New Jersey people can agree. So if I'm looking at this one, we also have a little bit of a caution, a little bit of a speed bump right here. Okay, so when I get in, the safer entry would be above this guy up to here, but I'm going to get in a little early, and I'm going to use a $9 buy. But we'll go ahead and wait. See, there we go. I got Chris on my side. I've recruited him. New Jersey drivers are the worst. They are, dude. I moved to Oklahoma, and I was going up the highway, and just driving. Everyone's just driving normal. And then this car literally like just like, I get it. I'm from New York, but you don't see that down there at all. And this guy was like within inches of everyone's bumper every single time. And it was just crazy. Good driving, but terrible for traffic. Because down there, everybody like they froze, you know, they didn't know what to deal with that. So I go normal, like you don't disrupt your own speed and stuff because that'll mess everything up. But they're all slamming on their brakes and swerving and all kinds of stuff. And this guy's just zipping through. Just a little blue beater, you know, just a normal little car. Back window busted out. It was all taped up and stuff. But yeah, it was an interesting out of area thing to see. Deep dish is good, don't I? Oh, that's right. We got Marcos. Well, I'll tell you what, Marcos, quality over quantity, buddy. I'm just kidding. That's horrible. Yeah, usually, Chris, that's how it goes. The New Jersey drivers come to New York City and they just ruin it for everybody. That's horrible. No, Charlie, especially not out there, not in Rosemont. That's all steakhouse territory. I will say the steakhouses in Chicago are way better. Bridge and tunnel people. Yeah. Tunnel people. So this one is taking its sweet time. This is BGI. Ooh. Top, did you trade TOPP? Also, it is Tuesday. It's Tuesday morning. So if you guys are in premium, let me put the link out here as well. I'll put it on the socials, and then I'll also put it here in the Discord for you guys. If you guys are not in a coaching program, Bull has his coaching stream at 3 o'clock Eastern today. Is it 3 or 3:30? 3 o'clock Eastern. He does spread trading. Sorry, that's in premium. I lied. But that's his coaching program where he teaches that stuff. And if you want to trade options, but you don't want the risk of losing everything on every single trade, spreads limit that risk. You know, it mitigates the profits as well, but you get your risk is limited, and that's the most important part. So if you guys like this stuff, you'll like that stuff, in my opinion. And I would say anyone that's got 4 figures or more, should definitely be using spreads, in my opinion, anyway. That's a very strong opinion, because I've seen a lot of people just blow themselves up on naked options, and I hate seeing it. But even if not, you should still learn about spreads, because the concept of hedging, which is all a spread is, you're just hedging the cost of the contract and the risk with another contract. That concept is it's critical, because when you grow your portfolio, you're going to have to do that as well. For like with dividend stuff, for passive income, you're going to want to hedge your investments with high yield, high risk ETFs and things like that. And we can make it as complicated as we want. So if you're in like his calendar press stream, for example, you can even modify that, which I talked to him at Chicago, and he was really excited to hear what I did to his beloved press strategy. You can take that a step further and optimize the hell out of it with spreads. So it's pretty interesting. Can't wait for the entire next month. Pookie using New Jersey driver analogies. Absolutely. That's what we're going to do. It's all front wheel drive and it's all ice. Icy roads. It's going to be hilarious. Is that an open class? I'm in Lee's coaching. So the class itself is not. That's part of his coaching program. But you are in premium, and the spread trading live, that is a premium live stream. So you'll be able to get into that one. And while you're there, you can ask him questions. Like you won't get the full coaching thing, but you can ask him questions about spreads. He can teach you there. I'm volunteering him. He's got 2 coaching streams now. Just kidding. No, I harass the hell out of us, guys. Don't feel like just because it's not in that coaching stream, you don't get the juice. Just ask questions. We're here for you guys. So definitely take advantage of that. Take advantageable. Just kidding. That's horrible. Do your worst to them. It looks like I might not get this trade, by the way. This is kind of taking a little bit. FGI is kind of doing what we want, but it's let me find a better time frame here. Yeah, I just don't like this chart, guys. I mean, I do, but I don't. There's nothing I can really, not until we get like up here, break over a new high would be good. We got that guy, and then we got this little gap down here, right? So we're kind of hanging out just underneath the ceiling. Can't do a whole lot with that. And by the time it gets up there, it's going to be out of my price range. So I'd like to see a pull down here and then a strong confirmation on a bounce. So I just can't trade this one personally. Let's see what else is in my range here. We got 2 PP. It's just going to chain halt all day. Nothing we can do about that. FGI we just did. BGI has the juice, but it's got to go. I got to see a breakover with volume, and I don't see that. So I unfortunately can't stay on the stream forever. I got stuff I got to do, unfortunately. And I don't really see much else in terms of things with volume. Ooh, I kind of like this. That's a beautiful train station, sir. So I might like this one. Yeah, hit that interested button, and Discord will give you a reminder when it's time. I do like this. This is NFE. And I might grab some of that. Just on that little breakout. But I see, this is the problem though, is that volume is just not sustained, right? So at this point, I think it's best just to shut it down. I don't want to try to force a trade. I don't want to try to catch something just to catch something. That's not good for you guys to see, and I'm not going to do it for myself. So I think we had a pretty good day. We're up $60.86 on a $57 starting balance. So let's see. 486 divided by 57. We're up, I would say about 8%. I don't remember exactly how many cents we were at. Oh no, this one started at 56.99. So yeah, we're up about 8+%. So I think we're good to call it. Yeah, we had a pretty easy morning. No stress, no mess, and I will crispy. I'll take over for you if you have to leave. Everyone, don't enter a trade. Not trading is still a win. True that. Yeah, absolutely. So I do the penny thing, right? My penny for yesterday moves up. My penny for today moves up. I'm calling it here. We have potential opportunities in front of us, and we're choosing to just not trade them because we don't have to. All right. They're not high quality trade setups. So thank you guys. If you did trade, thank you for being here, Kenny. If you did trade anything, would you mind putting a 1 in the chat? Even if you traded your own stuff. If you didn't trade, that's okay too. Just go ahead and put a 2 in the chat, just so I know if these live streams should be focused on live trading or if education is more preferred. I feel like you guys want live trades. So everybody, Snooky, Pookie, Bookie, Snooky, Smooky Pookums. Nice. That cat does not look happy. Oh, bunch of 1s. Okay. Good stuff. And then another show of hands. We're going to use numbers 3 and 4 so we don't get confused. Put a 3 in the chat if you traded stuff I was trading. A 4 in the chat if you traded your own stuff. I'm just curious. I'm not going to be mad if you copy. I just want you guys to be safe. So if you do copy, just manage your risk. That's all. That's always my caveat. So Charlie says 3, Babnet 3 and 4, Top 3 and 4, Kenny Penny 3 and 4. So a little bit of a blend. Okay, that's good. And David just 4. Okay. Takac traded Bryce stuff. Kenny Penny is up 7%. 4 was if you just traded your own stuff. You didn't trade anything I traded. Wall Street came in late and traded SLNH. Don't know if I did or not. So no, I didn't trade that one. How'd that go? I don't even think that one popped up on my radar yet. That's Saluna. Yeah, I didn't touch that one. Good for you, man. Well, how'd you even see that one? I'm just curious. That's not on the that wasn't on the gainers list. Do you have a screener or something? I mean, congrats, but 4.5%. That's beautiful. Okay. 6 if you just traded Pokemon cards. Yes, if you traded your holographic Charizard, put a 6 in the chat. If you played your Blue Eyes White Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh, do a 5. That's all I know about either of those. Oh, from Lee's watch list. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, where'd you even see that? Morning watch list. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, I didn't pull it up. One thing I am going to try to do for you guys is, well, okay. So if you go to the dashboard, pbalerts.com, you log into the dashboard, you'll see his watch list and the watch list I post. Let me actually walk you guys through that real fast because I feel like not enough people use the watch list. So if you go here, right, you go to pbalerts.com, you log in. Okay, hopefully you guys can still see my screen. Oh, let me turn my camera off because that's going to cover that up. It's in the top left. Okay. Yes, go to pbalerts.com. I'll put the link here in the chat. You just go there, and then you go to login. You'll have to authenticate, however. I recommend using your Discord account to authenticate because that automatically attaches your email and all that. And then right here, you'll see the daily watch list. This is the one that I post in the morning. This is the larger cap one. But if you click this button or if you come over here, and you click the watch list option. I know it's kind of small here because it's on my big monitor, but if you click either of these, you'll be brought to this page. And the daily watch list, again, that's the one I post. It's the larger cap one. But if you click here, you'll see all of these with the entries and levels right there. So if you're hiding in your bathroom and you can't get on Discord, if you're at work, I should say, you wouldn't hide in your own bathroom. That's silly. But if you hide in your work bathroom, we have the chart here for you. It's an interactive TradingView widget. Now, I can't get it to plot the levels, which would be awesome, but there's some back and forth I've been doing with the TradingView team for a long time. They just take forever to respond. I would like to get these levels plotted and then have signals pop up on the screen. That seems like a common sense answer. But that is also something I'm trying to put into the server for the Discord as well, but we'll get there. But yeah, so this is this has all the levels. You can plot your own. You can plot your own levels right here. You just got to go to the. I don't know how to do it. Anyway, but you get the levels right here. You can just grab them and screenshot them, whatever you got to do. But you can keep an eye on these in your browser, so that way you don't have to be in Discord and all that. So if it makes it easier for you, sorry, I got to zoom in super fast. If it makes it easier for you to watch here. will you have something else popped up like your broker or the Discord? You can keep the Discord in the background and just watch these here, or however you want to do it. So like SLNH, for example, is moving up right now. Entry is 101, target 1 is 111, target 2 is 121, and stop loss 96 cents. You'll see these update in real time. So it's pretty easy if you just want to have them up. And you can also make it, these are responsive. So you can just minimize this, and then you can just scroll up and down. I gotta hide that. Okay, I'm gonna have to yell at the other dev. That's supposed to go away. But that's weird that that's not doing that anymore. It used to. My bad. I'll fix that. But either way, we've got a resource outside of Discord for you guys to watch this. Oh yeah, the Dr. Muds. You remember Muds, the multi-user dungeons, the old C-based socket, move around, kill stuff, loot stuff. Those were huge back at in my childhood. Anyway, you're born in '91. That's okay. We'll get you there. We'll bring it back. I was actually trying to host one on my server, but the GoDaddy web hosting thing wants me to do it through a VPS, and I can't just open my port for it. But we'll get to that later. Charlie, does it pull from TradingView but not from out of the Pennyboy TradingView? So basically what happens is when Lee posts his watch list, he puts it into an admin portion of this of our site. There's a specific admin section that you guys can't see. That sends it into a database. And then the website pulls from the database, and it also sends it off to Discord. It sends it off to email. And it just kind of goes to all these places. So everyone has access to it. And that's what generates that message in the morning. So if you go to the watch list channel and you look for Lee's watch list, that's what it generates all this. And that's what it says Pennyboy's app right here. This is just a template, and it fills in the tickers and the price target information and the stop losses. I made that. I'm just but it's pretty fun. Oscuda, there is a little description, plus you can always harass Mad Maverick. He uses the 2 or 3 minute in most cases. He looks for a close over the entry level. Buys off the retest. Yeah, it kind of depends. There's a little bit of a little bit of explanation that kind of goes into it. But generally, yeah, like a 2 minute close over the threshold and then maybe a retest is pretty easy to get. So for this one, for example, if we're looking at the 101 for entry, this is SLNH. What was the specific? It was 111? 111, 121? Yeah, so 101, 111, 121, and 96 cents per stop. Okay. So there's the entry is 101. I'll do this really quick and then I got to jump off. 111 is the first target. 121 is the second target. And then 96 cents is the stop loss. Okay. So then right here, for example, we had a close. Like this would have been the first opportunity unless we count over here pre-market. Let me see what time that was posted. Usually does it right around 9. So 8:36. Okay, so wait, let me make sure that was the right list. Yeah, 8:36 a.m. So let me draw that out, 8:36. Okay, so here we had a close over, and then we ended up hitting stop loss. And then we had another close over here, and looks like we're on our way to target. So if you don't want to trade pre-market, you don't have to. Most traders prefer to just trade these after market open. And the goal basically is just to catch it on a breakout and then just lock out pieces of it here and pieces of it here, and then move your stops up and things like that. So you just got to build a strategy. That's all. And you can always talk to Mad Maverick about that. That's why we encourage people to get into his coaching program, because he's the guy that makes that specific watch list. And basically there's 2 outcomes. If you get in, it's going to be here to here or here to here, right? And this one's bigger, therefore net profitability. And that's kind of it. You're just looking for a break and continuation to the upside. And then every now and then you'll get, I don't want to say most days, but a lot of days you see big runners on this list. So let's take a look. CNFR, that one just kind of fell off. So no entry on that one, I believe. AIHS, that one had a A little bit of a spotty history there, 836. So yeah, you wouldn't have gotten a run on that one. What was the entry on that one? 342. Yeah, you wouldn't have gotten an entry on that one, I don't think. And then SLNH. So not a busy day for the watch list. This looks like the only one that you would have actually traded aside from BGI. BGI entry is 173, and you wouldn't have gotten an entry on that one. So yeah, this would have been the only one you would have traded. And it's about to hit target. So does that make sense? There you go. Target hit. So at this point, this is where a position management strategy comes in, because now you have a choice. You can sell everything at first target and just go for consistency, or you can scale out and lock the majority of the shares, whether it's 50% or 75 or 90% of the shares. And then that way you're prepared. You guarantee a net profit by doing that, because if the rest of the shares pull down and go to the stop loss, you won't give back all your profits, which means you'll keep a net profit. And you'll also have a small piece left in case it wants to run up for second target, if you want to do it that way. There's all kinds of ways you can tackle that. And that's where you got to have a coach to help you figure out what's best for you, and specifically about the type of stuff you trade. Like, you watch me do it a certain way. Lee does it a different way. Bull does it a different way. Austin does it a different way. So it really depends on you, and you got to figure out which one works best for you. FGI looks like it pulled up a little bit. It's back at the train station. And BGI. Okay, so that one did. You know what? I'll grab some. I'll grab some BGI, and I'll update you guys afterward. I got to jump off of here though. I'm just looking for a quick run up to Pennsylvania. And I'll just lock it out. But I got to end the stream here. I appreciate it. Everyone who's watching on social media, make sure you guys get in the Discord. Let me put that link in here. Actually, I'll put the premium link so you guys can get into there on social. And I'll catch you guys next time. And